All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to explore a journey that is hardwired into our DNA, a path every single one of us is on, whether we realize it or not. We're talking about the 36 gene key, a journey that takes us from our deepest, most difficult challenges all the way to our highest, most radiant potential.
Now, in the ancient I Ching, this energy has a pretty intense name, the darkening of the light. Yeah, I know, it sounds a little ominous, right? It's talking about those tough periods, those times of real suffering we all go through. But here's the secret. Inside that darkness, there's an incredible gift waiting.
So how does this journey actually unfold? Well, it's a three-stage process. We start out in a state of turbulence. Then we move through an awakening of our shared humanity. And finally, we arrive at the highest expression, which is pure compassion. Let's break down exactly what that means.
So this whole darkening of the light thing, it's not a curse. Think of it more like the core curriculum for being a human being. It's about the universal experience of suffering, a path that, in the end, actually connects all of us. Nobody gets a free pass on this part of life.
Okay, so the very first stage, the starting point for this whole transformation, is what the gene keys call the shadow. And for this 36th key, the shadow is a state we all know really, really well, turbulence.
And you know, there's a perfect metaphor for this. Imagine you're on a plane, and it suddenly hits an air pocket. You know that lurch? That feeling where your stomach just drops? That is the feeling of turbulence. It's that sudden, overwhelming feeling that life is just too much.
And this turbulence isn't just one thing, right? It can hit us on every single level. You can feel it physically, in your body, you can feel it emotionally, in your heart, and you can feel it mentally as your thoughts just spin and spin. And let's be honest, most of the time, it's all three at once.
Now, here is a really critical piece of the puzzle. The real problem isn't the suffering itself, it's our fear of suffering. That fear is what acts like a giant amplifier, and that's what creates the state of overwhelm that just completely paralyzes us. So when we get hit with that fear and overwhelm, what's our go-to reaction? We usually fall back on these old, unconscious habits. We close our hearts down, we push our feelings away, we just cave in, or maybe we lash out with anger and blame. This is the shadow pattern, and it keeps us completely stuck.
But what happens if we choose a different path? What if we respond in a new way? Well, that's where the magic starts. It's where the shadow starts to transform into something beautiful. We step into what's called the gift frequency, a state of pure humanity. And this really boils it all down to a single, powerful choice. When that turbulence hits, the old shadow response is to freeze up, explode out, or just shut down completely. But the gift response, the path of humanity, is to do the exact opposite, to somehow stay open, to remember to breathe, and to just meet the experience as it is. Now, why on earth would we want to do that? Because suffering actually has a higher purpose. It's literally designed to crack us open. That intense pressure is meant to shatter all those old patterns of fear and separation that keep us feeling so isolated from each other, and even from ourselves.
This is the absolute key. Let me say that again because it's so powerful. With your heart open, it is not possible to be overwhelmed. Your mind can get overwhelmed for sure. Your emotions can definitely get overwhelmed. But the core of you, your open heart, it can expand to hold any experience no matter how intense.
And look, this is not about being perfect. That's not the goal. Practicing humanity means that even if you close down for a bit, and you will, the real gift is having the courage to be vulnerable, to forgive yourself, and to just gently, gently coax your heart back open, again and again.
So, what happens when we really master this art of staying open? Well, that's when we unlock the highest potential of this whole journey. This is what's known as the siddhi, or the divine gift of the 36th gene key, compassion.
And we're not just talking about compassion as a feeling. It's described as the ultimate prize of this entire journey. It's more like a fragrance, the natural, radiant energy that just emanates from someone who has fully embraced their suffering. It's the aroma of grace itself.
To really get how this kind of compassion works, there's this fantastic story about the Buddha that shows just how dynamic and, well, mysterious it can be. It's not always what you'd expect.
So first, a man who's a deep believer comes to the Buddha and asks, "Is there a God?" And the Buddha says, no. Why? Because for that man, his belief was just a concept, a mental box that was getting in the way of a direct experience.
The Buddha's no was designed to shatter that box.
Then, another man comes along. This guy's a total skeptic. His mind has proven to him 1,000 times over there is no God. He asks the same question, and this time, the Buddha says yes. This completely shatters the man's mental certainty, forcing him to question the limits of his own mind.
Finally, a third person comes, a true seeker who is right on the very edge of enlightenment. They ask the question, and the Buddha just looks them right in the eye and says absolutely nothing. He transmitted the truth directly, in total silence, and the man understood everything.
So you see what's happening here? True compassion isn't just about being nice or agreeable. It meets you exactly where you are and gives you precisely what you need to break through your own limitations. It perfectly mirrors your own state back to you in a way that helps shatter you open.
Okay, let's pull all these threads together now. We've seen this incredible journey from the chaos of turbulence, through the courage of embracing our humanity, all the way to the grace of true compassion. It's a single, beautiful arc of transformation.
And this really is the ultimate secret of this gene key. The highest prize, compassion, isn't something you find by running away from your suffering. The seed of it is hidden right inside the heart of the turbulence. It's in facing our deepest challenges with an open heart that our humanity and our divinity finally become the exact same thing.
So I want to leave you with this one question to really sit with. We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid pain, trying to get around our challenges. But what if all that turbulence, all that suffering, what if it was never the obstacle we thought it was? What if it was and always has been the doorway?